Welcome back, OSL, to week 5. We are finally in the final week of the group stages. Now, we will only have one series today, and it will be our last game from Group C. Now, if you've been around the scene for a little bit, you will know that Group C has been a little bit wacky. We've had Void, Sanity, CatJam, Requiem bans all in that group. Requiem was looking like a sure first slot. However, both Requiem and Bans pulled out. So we've already seen Void beat Sanity last week. So Void are already the first slot to get through to the finals. But now we have Sanity and CatJam both fighting for that second seed. So this is a very important game for both of them, as this will directly decide who gets to the playoffs and will most likely fight against either Zetsubo or Lyran Marine. But I will introduce my co-caster, Tavi. Tavi, what are we thinking of these sets?
Yeah, hi everyone out there. Hello, Starzy. It's great to be back on the desk, even though I've been up for 2 hours. I am pretty fresh, and I feel like this matchup in this sets, we saw like 2 weeks ago that Sanity did take CatJam by a bit of surprise, the 2-0 victory there, but that kind of like doesn't really indicate too much because we have completely different sets this week. We have Spirit, which is CatJam's pick. Then we have the Lich, which is Sanity's pick, and then this tiebreak of Dredge. Oh my lord, don't get me into that. But yeah, Maya. I believe Maya has like been playing Spirit for quite a while, so I definitely played against her Spirit at least once when I was on Nightfall. But we don't have to talk about that. So I'm not entirely sure how confident Maya is going to be on the Spirit after a couple of months of retirement. But seems like she's doing uh she's actually doing a bit of a mind game here. Fortunately, it's not going to work. But yeah, I think Starzy, you're the man of the tipping, and it seems that the Spirit is a little bit more favored towards CatJam.
Yeah, and I'd say that's most likely correct because I think we are going to see CatJam get the first win here. And to be honest, I think if we see CatJam go for the first set, Lich is going to be a difficult set for both teams. But if we see, okay, Atlas, if we see CatJam pick up that first set, honestly, this could really go either way. So this is a very, very close game for this one. But we are going to see Atlas continue the chase towards 12. And we do see the champion of like gaming, Maya, maybe not entirely used to the champion of life fixated combo here, but we are hopefully going to get a quick hit onto Atlas. We do get a read here, and we do get the M1 that does come through. That was actually a very nice block on the husk there, and we will continue the chase up towards 12. I believe this has already been broken, so we will be able to get some free value. We're going to see the down coming soon, as we're going to try and screen Atlas towards nothing. Unfortunately, we do have a resource here, but Atlas is not quick enough and does end up taking the down here. I don't believe we'll have anyone near us, and we are going to get value from Agi as well. And we also have Scourge Hook, which will stop the first gen from being procced. We might have a 3 split here.
Yeah, we definitely have something. Oh, okay. Just as I'm saying that, we see double the mid, but considering the time it took for the first down and the rotation for the survivors, I think that was a pretty good chase overall. Of course, Suffer being a choke point map makes the rotations a little bit more difficult. But yeah, you can see the mid gen is already pretty much would have been completed without the pain resonance. So that was a really, really important first down there. Imagine if Ak got the stun. That would have actually been this mid 3 generator done, and now Maya can just afford to defend this generator and just chase Neckbeard off for the time being, with of course Murky being working Shack. They still have gen progress for sure, but I think they would not be at all pleased that this generator is regressing, as we do see Smokey's gen pop in the background. I feel like, again, like maybe a bit of that first chase is gonna go to waste thanks to like the location of this hook, but we can see here. Oh, they're actually both. Are they both positioning for the save? No. Oh, wait. Neckbeard's going for it. That's interesting. That's interesting.
It looks like we do give a free hit on Taranga, though, is caught getting the vault. Now, we are going to see Atlas almost go to second, but we do see the FTP come in on to Neckbeard here. Will be receiving an FTP, so Atlas will be in a better position to escape here. Hopefully, we don't see a free down onto Neckbeard, but it doesn't matter because Atlas gets hit instantly. And we are already got our power back. So we're going to see the face walk coming through from Maya here, seeing if we can get a very quick down. Atlas is going to be in a very difficult position. And we see the down, unfortunately, can't make it down towards the bottom side of the map. That is not what you want to see, but Atlas does end up taking the down. Now, that is going to get us towards second here. We do see the drag up towards top as well. I really like this. We've got access to Agi, and we can definitely play around this hill hook. This is going to be a very, very top-sided part of the game. We are going to be seeing a lot of chases that are going to be the call out. We need to die bottom. We need to die bottom. We're gonna need to die deep six. So we're gonna see a lot of chases. The moment they get hit, they're just gonna run bottom. So hopefully Maya is able to capitalize on an early M1 following into a phase walk, and we might be able to see some really quick downs if she's able to screen them properly. But it's going to be a very, very difficult game if we're just going to keep on rotating down towards bottom ever so slowly. But it looks like we do find someone here who is not out of position, but who will be taking the next chase. This is going to be Neckbeard.
We're just leading this bottom. I would not be surprised if Maya just went straight back. Yeah, seeing the resets, surely you would go straight back, but no, Maya's actually anticipating the rotation being late, and that's gonna mean that the down's gonna happen first, and potential pain is Vanya's going to, he gets it without a tag, and that is huge because that means that Smokey can get the unhook pretty much for free. Oh my god, and we have the sprint burst play on hook 2 on a hill, which is facing the wrong way, so our survivor here, Ak, can just get to the bottom side for free. Like, sure, like, sprint burst isn't the best perk to get tunnel out first, but look at that. Look how much distance they're just going to make for free to make the bot side. And wow, okay, that was such a turn of events, but Ranga definitely, on their tier list, surely you got to bump it up tier, so if you haven't already. Oh my god, beautiful. Beautiful fake.
Yeah, unfortunately, though, we are going to see the down coming through onto Atlas. So this is going to be the third hook and the final hook for Atlas in the trial. And I think, yeah, we just want to hook someone as quickly as possible and head back up towards top. This is still definitely 4K1 territory. We can easily see Maya fight for this, especially as nobody's actually on a gen yet. So we've slowed down a lot. So unfortunately, although we got a big pallet stun from Ranga, it didn't really achieve anything because Atlas went down too quickly to really gain much of a footing in the game. And we still have access to 3 Scourge hooks and pretty much all of our kicks up here. So we have got a ton of value here. I don't really, I mean, I don't know whether we should be kicking 1% gens, but it's absolutely fine. I don't think it's really a huge deal either way, but we are going to be using one of our 8 kicks here, and Ranga will be getting the heal in the background with Smokey just doing a slow rotate here. So if we can find someone out of position, if we could find Smokey, that'd be absolutely fantastic. But I think the survivors are going to turtle for a little bit and slowly rotate to the gens. But we do see Smokey has started a gen in the background. This is going to be our bottom gen, the only one that we've got left in the trial.
Yeah, and this one's gonna be like the key point here for Sanity. Like, are they gonna decide to greed for the 5th generator pop, or are they going to play for the 4K1 and definitely pop that generator? I mean, they definitely have to pop the generator, but the question is, do they give up progress on this 5 generator to try and get the topside 3 gen done? And it seems like Maya doesn't even care about the topside 3 gen and just gets it down onto Smokey. Beautiful phase there just to secure that, and that's gonna be not the best hook location, but it's gonna force a survivor to at least rotate and give Maya some information when the unhook happens. And I'm really surprised at what I saw Sanity do. They were actually resetting in the 3 gen edge map, so if Maya actually found that reset on 12 edge, it would kind of be like a game over for the survivors. But it was very, very fortunate that it wasn't found. So it's also kind of big as well. But I did get a notice from the match staff that I believe Sanity do have a duplicate perk, so that's going to be a minor penalty, which is actually a big deal because we're looking towards a 4K territory here, Starzy, and like even like that small penalty on a 4K is like so much more when you compare it to like maybe like outs, because you know half hook stage pretty much means that you have an additional generator. Starzy's mic might not be working, but Ranga gets the stun through the power, gets the fake overcome. I believe he's a Smash It player, but that's the fake overcome on main building. I don't think he makes that much though. Just not going to be enough. Look at that. Beautiful again from Maya to catch that out. And now this is, I think, the situation which she did want, which is this hook in the 3 gen, converting that bot side pressure into this beautiful hook location here. But I again, I feel like heading towards 4K territory and this penalty that's coming in, I would say it's heavily favored towards CatJam. It's just hard for Sanity to if they keep this up, definitely 4K, but they need to pull something off here. They need to they need to try something different because the way it's going is not looking great for them in this spirit
Yeah, I'm
set.
sorry, man. My bad. My internet dropped there. That was super awesome. But we are back. So the zero point 0.5 penalty you were talking about before, I don't know whether you capitalized on that, but it's absolutely huge, especially when you're looking at a 4K win con. If you can secure a 4K2, then the 4K2 is the win. So that's absolutely massive what Maya is fighting for here. Even if you can get a 4K1, the fact that you can win with a 4K1, you only need to pop 4 gens, you've already got that win. A 0.5 penalty is massive in a game like this. But we do see Smokey is working in the background. This is Neckbeard, who actually did move a little bit there. I don't think he ran, so we didn't see any scratch marks, but we are going to get away with it irregardless. And Smokey will be working on this bottom gen as well, as we're going to be seeing Ranger most likely go towards second here. We do know Smokey's no buy, but we aren't going to be seeing this unhook come through, and Ranger will be going second here. So this will give Maya a lot more agency to move around the map and hopefully play more aggressively.
Yeah, I was gonna say Starzy, great minds think alike with that penalty. Yeah, we're both discussing the same thing. But oh my god, Neckbeard nearly gets away with that, but he gets chased, so we know he's being chased. That's not gonna be successful FTP, and May has to decide what to do here on the top side. Definitely, they're gonna see that 5 generator pop, but actually deciding to chase Neckbeard, I believe, off this life, and maybe deciding otherwise seeing the distance, but actually does decide to commit this, which I think is very interesting, knowing that Vanger cannot be the life player. They have to still be on the top side stealthing somewhere, and that's the 5 generator done, and Neckbeard is still, look at how much distance he has. He's still safe around Shack. So Maya should have like full info on where the location of the general location of the survivors are, but this tag on Smokey's huge. He's running box side. Now Maya can afford to commit this tunnel out onto Vanger, who should still be top side somewhere. Like you've got to see a stealthing Saga somewhere on this top side, because he definitely cannot have rotated in time. So I think that's the aim of Mayor's plan here, checking up this top side. Yeah, we can see he's stealthing Edge, but I don't know if this time it's going to be successful, because Mayor should know that he's here.
Yeah, unfortunately, May doesn't know exactly where to look. We are trying to look towards the edge map here, and we seem to be actually getting pretty close here. We might see a down coming through. I think we hear them. We do, and this is a huge find. We are going to be seeing Ranger take the down here, and this is exactly what you need. We are going to see the reset coming in on Smoky Neckbeard in the background, but that doesn't matter because now we have forced ourselves into a 2v1, and that is going to be Ranger out of the trial. So that is huge for May here. Can definitely fight for this 4K1, and honestly, I think this is a really, really good result for her, considering that we are going to be seeing the penalty towards in favor of CatJam, should I say. So the fact that she's able to fight for this 4K1 and be okay with her team popping 4 gens, honestly, is really doable. And she is just watching this choke, and this is going to be very difficult for either of them to get by. But she finds Neckbeard here, doesn't get away for free. We do see the live come through, and we could rotate, but no, we're going to get the down onto Neckbeard instead. I think either choice is absolutely fine. These gens are not progressive at all. You can choose to play aggressive.
Yeah, absolutely, and I do like to see this gameplay from Maya. I've seen way too many times where Killer just commits for a tag and then leaves because they're scared of a top side gen popping, and then you get the classic like 20-minute games, even on like some killers like Unknown maybe. But yeah, Neckbeard's gonna go down. Final pain res hits the board, and there's pretty much nothing left in terms of like realistically what the survivors can play for. Of course, you can still potentially get a gen done, but Mayor would have to slip up pretty poorly, or you'd have to see some renewal type stealthing coming in. But Chunky is doing an alright job, just slowly rotating for this hook as Mayor confirms this topside 3 gen. 4K1 is, yeah, a pretty amazing result considering that penalty, as we were talking about before. Now we see Smokey, so the trial's pretty much over, so that's nice to see again. But did he get a locker? But yeah, now Sanity needs a 4K2 as a win con because the Tycon is completely gone now, and I believe Nolzy plays Spirit, and I haven't seen him play Spirit for a bit of time, so it'd be interesting to see how that pans out, Starzy.
Yeah, I actually don't really know much about Nolzy Spirit, so that should be interesting to see. Nolzy has had a little bit of a rough start on the Survivor for this season, but hopefully we're able to come back and go a little bit crazy. Getting a 4K2 would be absolutely huge if we're able to pull it through. So if we can get that, we'll be in such a good position. But we go for the drop there onto Neckbeard. However, it does not work. May are not read by the fake out, and we are going to get another phase walk as well, followed by the fast vault So, and it looks like we will be taking them down here. So that will be the end of the trial. Very, very well played to Maya, able to secure a 4K1. And the fact that we've got that disadvantage coming in on Sanity here is absolutely huge. But we will be leaving you here. We won't make you watch the rest of this. We'll be back with you in just a few short minutes as we set up for the next game, as we'll see the CatJam survivors try and get 4 generators done.
All right, everyone, welcome back to the second half of the Spurs set. We just had a BHVR moment thanks to the lobby being crashed. So now we will be into a valid lobby, hopefully, as we do see a lot of things load in. So I was saying before, Smoky Spirit, I haven't seen that in a hot few months, but hopefully he's up to the task of this 4K2, which is set by Maya in the previous trial. So I'm not entirely sure what build he would run, but I'm going to assume that it's going to be pretty standard. And yeah, we do see exactly the same build coming in from Smokey. So there's going to be a chance it is going to be right now for Smokey. He does actually have a bit of a corrupt 4-gen, so it's a really good start here. But I think we know, I think we both know, Starzy, that if CatJam can stealth, then they will stealth.
No, that's exactly right. And this is actually one of their best maps for stealthing. So if you remember a while ago, we had actually a play game. I think it was a play game versus Baki. But it doesn't matter. I'm not going to talk about it because Stormslide has been found basically instantly, unfortunately. And this has not given our survivors enough time to rotate. But hopefully Stormlight can go for a decent chase here as Smokey's getting a little bit lost in the source as we are going to be taking the chase back towards 11. But we're going to see Stormlight give a very quick hit. And we're stuck in a really awkward position now. What am I... What? What was that? That was an absolutely crazy. It pays off as well. How does that pay off? Stormlight. Okay, you know what? They go down and they're pretty much 2-tapped, but that was awesome. That was clip worthy. I can't believe what that was. I've never seen anything like that before.
Yeah, well, they say Spirit's a 50-50 killer, and you know what? I think we all have to agree after seeing that play here on the top side. But Stormlight's going to go down fairly early into this corrupt, and I'm not sure really how much progress our CatJam survivors have here. We can see on the UI that Trees Gen is only at 25%, so really not that much progress to show off here as Smokey goes for the eruption kick. It seems like to be around nothing, so Smokey actually can get a 4K2. It is pretty possible here as he does commit to this top side onto our ace here. Beautiful bit of tracking here to get a tag onto Fizz, but I feel like he needs to get this hell out like right now, but maybe he's got other plans, Starzy. Maybe he wants to spread the pressure. Maybe he wants to get multiple injuries or multiple hook stage. And that's going to be a down onto Fizz. Really nice again. And he might actually be able to cut off a potential rotation from our tunnel out.
Yeah, unfortunately. I have 2 great of a chase. They tried to get some balance out. You couldn't quite get away with it. Unfortunately, being stuck on the hill on that side is going to be a bit awkward. Maybe if it was facing the other side, we could have had a longer chase. But regardless, we're going to see Smokey running around the 6 side here, still fighting for a tough game. He only needs pop 4 gens here, so the survivors still can make a couple of mistakes and get away with it. But we are going to find out Cheryl. This is going to be Tree taking the 3rd chase of the game and seeing if we can go a little bit crazy with it, which is exactly what we're going to do here. It seems like Smokey has just completely lost. Where did Tree go? Okay, I guess she just rotated out of here and we're not. Awesome. All right, well, we're going to see the unhook coming in anyway, and Fizz will be getting a little bit clutched up on here as we are getting put into a very awkward position.
It's very awkward, but somehow Fizz gets away with that. Smokey swinging just on that last couple of milliseconds of the borrowed time means that Fizz can continue this chase. Unfortunately, not for that much longer, and Smokey is now, like, look at this, tunnel out at 5 gens. Well, not tunnel out, the second hook at 5 gens, as we do see, actually, the topside gen be approaching that 100%. That's going to be pretty big, because there was a 4 gen here, but there's still not that much gen progress on the board. Ada's going to get caught off this 8 gen, and it's, yeah, not entirely ideal for us survivors still, even though it's like, no tunnel out yet, and Leggy's going to get hit through this jungle gym. That's another, like, really big, very big tag for Smokey to take, because now that's a survivor pretty much forced into the top side, and they have to get someone in for this unhook, because I feel like the way this trial is going, they need to pull and then chase in this top side, because they can't afford that 7 gen progress to go to waste, and Smokey is just happy to camp this out, of course, but Oh, this 4K2 Stasi, it's looking possible for Smokey.
Yeah, absolutely. But we do see that there are three gens that are being progressed in the background, so hopefully we can get some good value on the board here. Fizz might have to die, but if we can pop those three gens, then we do get the win con here. So that's going to be a massive advantage for CatJam. Just knowing that you don't need to get out. You can walk away with the 4K1, that's absolutely fine. But we are going to see Tree here come in for the final chase. This is going to be a difficult body block. This is a very open area, and we are going to see Tree is having a rough time getting this unhook here, but we are going to get it just in time with maybe 2 seconds to go, and hopefully Fizz can go on an absolute juicer chase here and go a little bit crazy. I think we might be rotating to the hill for balance, and it looks like that is exactly what we're going to do, and hopefully we can use Shaq to our advantage.
Shaq's just not going to be used thanks to the power being thrown earlier by Tree, and this is just going to be the tunnel at around, well, 3 gens. I'm going to assume a gen pops in the background, and Spirit being A tier now, we bumped it down, means that there's pretty much no anti-tunnel allowed. And that's just going to be the death coming in. No unbreak either as well. That's a pretty big deal. So Leggy's going to get this topside gen done, but like it's still pretty early for this death to come in. And without too many like strong active like anti-tunnel or like perks, I guess, in general, that they have remaining that could still turn against them here. But Storm's Light, 50-50 player is going to take chase again. Maybe they get a little bit mind game here. No, they don't. Okay, beautiful. Oh no, they just walked right past, and Smokey's gonna have to take this chase and phase without a tag just as of yet on Stormlight. So if there is someone to do it though, I'm gonna believe in Stormlight. Beautiful flashlight stun, flashlight blind as well. But oh, Smokey got a bit lost then. Okay, he doesn't get the tag though. So oh, they still have 3 injuries on the board, but that's at least another generator done. It's still very tough.
Yeah, this is a really awkward situation to be in. I think for both teams as well, all it will take is really one mistake from any team, and this could just completely fall apart. Now, we do see that Tree is working on this final gen. This is exactly what you want. We are putting pressure on the board. I really like Leggy stealthing for the save here. If we can play aggressively for this save, the moment we see Smokey go down, Leggy come in, then we can just pop, we'll make it for free, and get a really quick heal onto Storm's Light. I already hope Leggy is heading in for the save. He is. We are going to see Leggy on the rotate, Tree heading down towards deep 6 here. Now, we do have a reasonable part of the map to play around. This is quite a large area, and this is a really bad check by Smokey. We are in an area where we know that there is nobody. As the spectator, there is nobody down here. And oh, we're not even going back. We're not even going back there. We're letting them reset for free. And we are going to see the reset come in the background. Hopefully, Tree can go on a pretty decent chase here, or even better, just stealth the power, and we'll be absolutely fine. We are going to see Tree is sitting all the way down to Shaq. I would love to see her just rotate a little bit further away. Unfortunately, though, we don't have the time, though. We've been caught, and we need to get gaming here with our live and start leaving this area. But oh no, we're stuck at the Z wall, and oh, if we made it there, that would have been absolutely huge. But no, we are going to see the down coming in onto Tree. But we do see Leggy and Storm's Light reset in the background. So hopefully we'll be able to play a little bit more aggressively, as we're going to see Smokey try and get a decent hook here. I think this hook at logs would be great, but this hook over here will be absolutely fine as well. This is basically right in the middle of all the gens. So hopefully Smokey can defend it well enough. As we said, this is going to be a Scourge hook as well. I assume the survivors are going to be playing around 3 quite heavily, and that is exactly right.
Yeah, of course, now the survivors need to try and split the pressure between the 3 and the choke point, but I kind of didn't realize that there's, if there's a 4-gen top side, there can also kind of be a 4-gen bot side, and it seems like our survivors have just gotten into this pretty delicate situation here with this 3-gen and 3-gen and then the 3-gen, if you know what I mean. A bit of a joke there, but yeah, I guess gen progress is going to slow down to a halt. Luckily, Smokey doesn't have an active ruin for our survivors, but again, 4K2, it's even with these 2 heals that have come in now, Leggy actually does a beautiful little bit of jiggy here to avoid that phasing, and that's going to allow an outlook for this tag to come in. And I'm actually really surprised that Smokey is chasing this, even though it's the final pain resonance. Yeah, look at that, he turns away. And I was just we're kind of like put into the same situation as before though, but now we have one healthy survivor who is our spin burst, which is pretty good. But it's still again like very very tough for survivors. They need to play the stealth perfectly. They need to try and rotate at the perfect time and keep the comps open because every time Smokey does like one commit into an area, they need to try and attack into another one. Yeah, you can see Stormlight doing a beautiful job here, but that's going to be they've found the Spin Burst isn't going to be active. I don't know if there's a spectator bug or not, but Stormlight unfortunately takes a tag here, and that's again the pressure put back on the survivors. They need to get some kind of reset going because otherwise this trial is just going to end up in a 4K2.
Yeah, I think this is maybe one of those moments where you'd want to go down basement, maybe buy time for 3 to get done. It's already 50, so it is progressing along. I think if Tree doesn't get found here, they can still play around, and Leggy injured as well. There is still... Yeah, this game is really, really difficult for our survivors. Of course, Leggy just able to leave here, and this gen is slowly making its way towards attrition. So Smokey going to have a little bit of a more difficult time defending that. However, Storm's Light still on the ground here. And no, we are going to see the reset coming in the background. Hopefully, Leggy is already back on 3. We might be able to play aggressively for this as Tree hopefully can go for a bit of a juicy chase here. I do believe that this might be a live player, so we can go for a big crazy chase if we can. We're going to be making our way towards 9, and we're going to see Storms like actually rotate for the early pull, I think, as well. We saw this a lot last week from CatJam, or 2 weeks ago, should I say, from CatJam, where we saw a lot of early pulls come through. So I think we're going to see Storms like rotating for a very early pick right here.
Yeah, and I actually kind of forgot before, but Stormlight was actually Death Hook, so Smokey kind of prioritized that 3, the generator on 3, you know, making sure it didn't pop, then to secure the death, and that's, again, just going to be a pretty big deal, because now they had to, like, pretty much throw Tree to the fishes to keep Stormlight alive. Even though they get the unhook here, there's still 3 injuries on the board, and it's again looking like a pretty similar situation to before. But oh my gosh, Tree's gonna get found here on this top side. At least again they have a functioning exhaust with the life, but Smokey's actually angling back to 3, trying to catch out maybe Leggy on this rotation onto the generator. But again, it's still so hard to say what to do with the survivors. But oh, Leggy's gonna get found. But again, I think Smokey's still not being able to secure a kill. It's just gonna drag this trial out for longer. Give CatJam a couple more action plans to try and progress this trial, but oh man, they need to be stealthing a bit more perhaps, but that's hard to say. Oh, the gen is so close though. It's gonna get painless. Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be a huge win for us, Smokey there. This 4K2 is really starting to look more likely. If we could have rotated, maybe played stealth, go for the reset, that would have been really huge, but no, I don't think we're going to see it happen. Tree's going to go down corner. I don't think we're going to get that gen done, unfortunately. The Leggy unhook does come in the background. Okay. The Leggy unhook is going to come in the background, but the fact that we were able to get that Scourge hook is just going to win us this game, I think. Even if we're going for the double, I think we need at least 20 seconds, and I don't think we're going to have that long. There's definitely not enough time to get that done. We're going to see the phase come through straight away. And this is going to be a kick, actually. But I still think this isn't going to be enough time. Oh,
no, it's
maybe.
Enough. No, hold on. Predictions in chat. That's insane! No way! CatJam gets it done! I'm going to take the first set. Smokey realizes his mistake. Thinking that 7 gen. Oh my lord, that is a really, really tough throw on Smokey's side. He's not happy about it. Look at that, Starzy.
Yeah, we are going to see the bleed out on the ground, and that is a huge play by Leggy and Stormlight. They just decided, regardless of what's going to happen, we're going to smash out the gen, and it ends up paying off big time solely because Smokey kicked the middle gen. I'm shocked. I never would have guessed we kicked middle. My assumption would have been, we know both the survivors are probably at 3. Let's just go 3, but no, that isn't what we see. An amazing set by CatJam, able to pull out the win, which is absolutely shocking for a while. That was looking pretty crazy, but good stuff to CatJam. Were able to walk out with the 4K1. They will win with that disadvantage from Sanity, unfortunately. So whoever brought that inner strength is going to be in a bit of trouble. But regardless, we'll be back with you in just a few minutes as we set up for the next set. Paradox, who will actually be on the lich here. Now, unfortunately, we do know that Paradox is a bit of a Singu main, so might be a little bit naturally disadvantaged here. But I imagine that these killers are unfortunately quite similar in the levels, the levels of Paradox here. So hopefully we'll be able to see some good macro gameplay, and it looks like we will get our first hit onto Gaffy quite soon.
Yeah, Paradox, he's been experimenting with some killers, let's say, but Lich has been on his menu for a bit of time. I know back a couple of months ago, picked it up, and he's been talking about how he got some training from the nuclear fungus himself, Mr. Mirage. But Mirage actually got like 5 stage, I believe, in week 1, which is kind of insane because that was, well, I mean, that was against Vector, but still 5 stage, and that's pretty insane as well. But Guffey is in a pretty precarious spot. I think he's going to go down, but the birds got there. Oh my god, he timed that beautifully just to jiggy away. Maybe makes a window fast vault now and just loops back into the pallet. So although this early injury and potential first down is going to come in, Paradox is kind of struggling a bit. And maybe you can see like a gen pop if they double for this. But I don't know. It's still... Paradox is playing these 50s and he's not using the little bit of ledge properly. Oh no, he's just waiting for the mage hand, but... Gaffy just makes their way all the way to this pallet, and they're completely fine again. Losing the 50 is Paradox. Oh my gosh, this chase is going completely wrong for him.
Oh my god, Gaffy is going absolutely crazy. She is destroying Paradox right now. This isn't even close. This is just what you call absolute destruction. Gaffy is so switched on. This is an absolutely fantastic way to start the game. We are finally going to see the down, but that was the exact start that you needed. We saw, what, 1 pallet drop that entire time, and that was just a great chase by Gaffy. That is a really good start. That is phenomenal. That is exactly what you need to get the game going. That is just absolutely crazy. Good stuff. Good stuff by Gaffy. Massive shout out. Back in the cop scene and absolutely showing us how it's done. But we will be moving on into the mid portion of the game, as we do see that there were 2 gens done for that, and main was also progressed just a tiny bit. But yeah, that was an absolutely phenomenal chase. Wow.
Yeah, that was just beautiful. Just winning the 50s, greeting, and then just running through as soon as Paradox went for one of the powers. Just beautiful timing on Gaffy's part, and I feel like, again, bumped them up a couple of tiers, maybe, if they're already not in S tier. But that's not my tier list, as yeah, anyway, I did tier list survivors. But I guess Paradox just happy to camp out main here. Just for a bit of time. It might lose again, more generators from it. We do see someone rotate to the bottom mid gen for this, but yeah, amazing start coming out, and I feel like our survivors can look at outs. Funnily enough, I do recall there being like a couple of 4K ones, like 4Ks in a recent tourney, V1 tourney, V1 tourney. But May's gonna come in here and prevent the second stage from coming through. So it really doesn't look like a 4K in this trial. And MVP Gaffy, I guess. So Paradox actually going to slug Maya, doesn't want to go for the pain res, and Gaffy is again going to show some really nice understanding of the Lich mechanics coming into this trial. So I feel like CatJam's mental is going to be up there, Stasi. Like they won the first set through like a huge surprise. Now Gaffy's gone on a beautiful chase here, shows off their power or their knowledge, but unfortunately goes down there. I don't think there's anything they could do. But I feel like CatJam's mental is like really healthy here.
Yeah, it's a little bit of an unfortunate down there. There was literally nothing that you could do about that besides going around main, but the chase only lasted a few extra seconds anyway, and man, I'm starting to think that Gaffy's just secretly a Lich main, because they seem to just completely read Paradox every single time, wins every 50, and we see a nice stun there into Tree. I thought that might have been end up converting into a hit for Paradox, but no, we see Tree does get away with it for free. We do see the pallet stun, but they are able to escape, and this is going to be Gaffy's last chase. We are going to see some interesting WS action there, but we are going to be moving into Shaq here as we go for the instant drop as well. And I think this is absolutely fine dropping early. It does stop the mage hand from coming through, and this is a good resource that's gone in. This is the exact right part of the map that you want to be taking chase as well. So this is great stuff by Gaffy, pretty much on the exact side of the map that you want to be on. Actually opts away and is going to make this as well and gets the vault as well. My god, this is an absolutely crazy game by Gaffy. They have had 2 already very good chases, and this third one is turning into absolutely phenomenal.
This is just beautiful. Gaffy said, "No, the survivor you want to be chasing." They don't get hit by that swing as well. Paradox swings through though. Gaffy did not drop the pallet in time, but that's still so much time being bought, and that's just a beautiful demonstration of just how you can play this deeper area of Dead Dog Saloon. I can't play it myself, but Gaffy just did a beautiful showing there, winning the 50s yet again somehow. Beautiful timing on reading Paradox's power, and that's going to allow main gen to pop here and potentially another one. I don't know what the percentages are though, but that's just again a very very amazing chases. Hello, Tree just gives away a free tag. At least they're healthy though, so it can make something out of this chase. But oof, we transitioned from one good chase to a little bit of a mistake or mishap coming through from Tree. So it could still definitely go for something here, can Paradox, but definitely this free down here on 5 is going to be a really, really nice little bonus for him as he takes this presumable painless hook, but oh, he's actually going for this mid hook, and he does make it thanks to agitation, so bit of agitation value coming in, Starzy, something that honestly I don't see that often nowadays because survivors just usually head for dead spots.
Yeah, I mean, agitation as well is going to be so valuable on this map, considering it's such a small map. Being able to take them an extra couple of meters, hooks can be closer. They're going to be better dispersed for the killer, and you're going to get that value out of Agi 100%. But we do see Paradox will be rotating around this main section now. We do have still a lot to play around for both sides here. Unfortunately, now that the 3v1 has occurred and seems like the carry is gone here, we're going to need Maya and Layla to clutch up here and get on these generators and start putting some pressure on the ball. We do see that there is one just being worked on here, just a tiny bit, and we see Maya rotating in for the save as well. So this is going to be really awkward because these 3 gens are very, very close. So this is going to be very difficult to play around. We have one main. Yeah, these are really badly placed gens, unfortunately. And the one that was most progressed is actually the one that's in the worst spot, I would say, because this is all the way up top, and yeah, it's regressing a fair bit as well. So this is it's going to be difficult to play around. We do have one already sitting at 30, but we do see Maya coming in for the save.
They will again be able to get the unhook before second, and I'm surprised Paradox just doesn't. Oh my god, Caster's curse, bro, Caster's curse. I try and predict what people are going to do and then they just do it, or they don't do it. But anyway, Paradox, ignore me from before. Paradox is going to pick up Maya, and that's going to be an early unhook because they do take a commit onto Claudette. That's a beautiful little bit of birds there, or skulls, flat of the down, whatever you decide to call it. And that's a 2-tap coming in from Layla. So again, Starzy, now the S tier player is gone. Maybe Paradox can pull this back into what could potentially be a 4K1 because this gen's not going to get done in time. Painter is going to come in, stop it progress, and Ruin. Honestly, we haven't been talking that much about Ruin, but Ruin's gotten so much value. Like it's just allowed Paradox to just look at a survivor, and then suddenly the generator starts progressing by like 15% or more. So yeah, Ruin's honestly a huge deal for our survivors, and I feel like if they knew that it was on 5, they would cleanse it. But they just haven't. So it's just going to be so much more difficult to work these gens with this hook coming in, and that's again a beautiful flight of the damned from Paradox. So he really knows what he's doing. It's just Gaffy, I think, knew a bit better. But now they're gone, it's going to be tough for CatJam, I think.
Yeah, unfortunately, those flats are really starting to come clutch. As a map with a lot of elevation is going to be where Lich can really shine, especially with the Survivor is only slightly above us. The fact that we can use our power in such a way where you just cannot dodge it is so unbelievably valuable. We do see Tree will be going on to hook here. This will be their second hook of the trial, and we see a reset coming in the background onto Layla here, actually. And it looks like we have a general idea of where it might be. I think we know. Paradox isn't sure yet, but he has found it regardless, and we will be seeing... Oh no, that's a huge misplay by Maya. Unfortunately, goes down to the Lich power, and this is going to be the game. This is going to be a 4K1 in favor of Paradox. And that is so gutting for Gaffy because she was going absolutely crazy the start of the game. Oh, that's so unfortunate.
Yeah, but you would have to wonder if Gaffy didn't get chased first, potentially how much progress our survivors would have made in terms of the generators if the tunnel out was so quick. And Paradox, again, had a bit of mishaps in Gaffy's chase, and it still only ended up in a 4K1. They didn't end up in like outs or something. So just like if that tunnel out was faster, maybe we could have seen a slightly better result for Paradox. But 4K1 is still an amazing performance coming in. So I'm not entirely sure who plays the Lich for CatJam. Maybe it's Gaffy. Maybe that's why they're like completely goated playing the Survivor Chasers. But yeah, 4K1 is a pretty tough win condition to come through, and that is going to just spell the end of this trial. And yeah, I guess we'll have to see whether CatJam's killer can get a 4K1 because I have no idea. So we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. This is going to be a really intense game 2, half 2.
Early to mid-game momentum into escapes, and we saw a 4K1, which is definitely tieable for our killer, which will be Tree here coming in. I do believe that this is Tree's first killer game in comp, so will be interesting to see what they can pull off. But regardless, we will be loading in and hopefully seeing some good gameplay from both sides here, as we're going to be seeing Nosy load in and Tree loading in here. We are going to see the Corrupt Scourge, Ruin, and Agi, and these builds are going to be very, very similar. I think they're actually, no, wait, they're the same.
Yeah, I think they're the same. Forgive me if I don't know the Vecna add-ons, but I really don't pay attention to a lot of the new killer add-ons. But yeah, I mean, surely they're going to be the standard Vecna add-ons. If not, they'd probably be in fact-checked by Smunk. But anyway, it's going to be a pretty slow start here, and Axe just going to get away with a beautiful stealth in this 3 little bush here. Oh my gosh, you'd see that pops every time, but I've never really seen that happen in comp, and that's actually maybe Ruin even been gone because Yak on the totem there, and Tree might actually be losing that perk really early on this trial, which is a pretty big deal because we saw Paradox have it pretty much the entire time in the previous trial. But okay, Neckbeard, we're gonna get a little bit stuck here on Shaq, and we do see Tree pick up on this and actually getting a bit of a prediction too, and Life gonna kind of save Neckbeard here as they do take chase to this mid area, but. Oh my, that's Ruin gone already in this trial, and Neckbeard's actually gonna get tagged by that. He couldn't dodge that, and maybe this style's gonna be faster than the previous trial, Starzy.
Yeah, I think Neckbeard maybe weighed the options there and decided that taking the hit was better than slowing down. So we are going to see Tree continue this chase here. We do have our fly ability here, but we aren't going to be using it. We're instead going to be rotating around, seeing if we can maybe win a 50-50 onto Neckbeard here. And we can, unfortunately. Neckbeard a little bit slow on the reaction times. We do see the down coming through, and gens are being worked on in the background. There is going to be 2 separate gens. Nosy will be rotating for the save here. That is going to be our head-on player, but I do believe we are going to get some Scourge Hook value, so we will be stopping at least one of these generators from popping, and that is going to take us down 4-3, and will give us a little bit of value. That's going to be the Atlas gen that will be hit, and Nosy slowly rotating up through mid, and we are going to see our survivors do slow down a little bit, but Nosy is actually found. Won't be giving a free hit just yet. Does buy a little bit of time, but oh my god, that's huge. That's exactly what you want. You want to get that hit, and you want to get it through the the pallet there. That's absolutely huge, and hopefully we're going for a little bit of a mind game onto Nosy here, and it works, but unfortunately our ping seems to be going from bad to good as Nosy makes it only just there by just a hair.
Yeah, I mean, Nosy's net bailed him once and failed him once, so that's not bad going. 50-50 is his net, which you do like to see at the casino, but it's going to be Neckbeard taking the next chase, finding his pallets, trying to get it safe, but I think, is that a bit of a tech coming in? I couldn't really tell, preventing the hand from coming down, and oh my god, he just dodged the flight of the dam there. That would have been a huge tag for Tree. Unfortunately, that missed, and now that power's going to be on cooldown again. Tree has absolutely nothing for this chase. They've already used the mage hand and the flight of the dam, so that's only going to be coming back in like 30-20 seconds. So it's pretty much playing an M1 kill at this point, and Neckbeard again doing a beautiful job of body blocking that. Just denies Tree so much distance here around main building, and this is, I think, the chase that Neckbeard really did want at the start of the trial. Look at how much distance and how much time he's buying around this main building. Tree just cannot really capitalize on the abilities here because they're all on cooldown. They've already been used, and just unfortunately just haven't been able to get that much value out of them, as Tree actually might just decide to leave this chase and go for greener pastures. Yeah, look at this. Just leaving, trying to maybe secure the survivor here, maybe get pain res maybe or whatever. I mean, it's going to be a commit, but realistically, this is in the area of the map where there's absolutely nothing left in terms of the killer to defend. So, yeah, and we already saw Gaffy from the previous trial do a beautiful chase here. It actually takes an immediate M2. This chase could still last a really, really long time here, Starzy, and that is a problem. Look at that. It's just so many pallets.
Yeah, it's a very nice chain from Aklis, able to rotate instantly towards this filler here after the first option was taken away, and we are able to rotate back to another filler actually, and Aklis doing pretty much exactly what you want to do here, just rotating around for time, and even could have gone down edge map there, but no, we are going to continue the chase, and it seems to be paying off big time as we are going to get back to this little carriage filler here. Tree doing some very, very interesting maneuvering there, and does not end up paying off as Aklis is just waiting on the pallet for Tree to make a mistake, and that's going to be huge there. Aklis with a little bit of an early crouch, but gets away with it anyway, and we're going to see a Mage Hand come through here, and this is going to be a very quick down onto Aklis, which finally does occur. So that was actually a very solid chase, able to keep alive a nice chain into the carriage filler, was able to play very, very well, and that's exactly what you want to do. When one resource is taken away, you just pop straight into another. Now we do see the Scourge Hook does occur onto Aklis here, so that will slow our gen progress by just a little bit. Unfortunately though, main is absolutely pumping away. We are going to try and stop it. We will be able to, but I think it won't really matter because we are just absolutely gunning through these generators, and Neckbeard has got a very good read onto Tree here, and he's got so much distance as well. Tree was just not expecting that, and we're going to see Neckbeard just completely gone here. And honestly, we're in a very, very good spot with our survivors. If we lost it from here, I would be very, very surprised.
Yeah, I mean, Tree has to kill everyone before one generator pops to try and take a victory, but realistically, a 4K1 is like impossible. And even trying to get a 4K0 is also really tough from here with only 2 hooks on the board, and all 4 healthy survivors are still in the trial. So, I mean, yeah, look at this. Main's also being worked for 3, so that's just going to be the Tycon med for Sanity. And I feel like they're just going to take set number 2, and the tipping was a little bit more accurate on this set, I guess. But that's another nice little showing on the Lich. Again, another nice birds coming in through as Neckbeard takes the next chase. Actually, main's not going to get done for this. The Nolzies here take a little bit of the aggression away. So potentially you could see main generator being done from this. And oh, Nolzy, that was maybe not the play.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what we were seeing there from Nosy. Could have easily taken the hit there for Neckbeard, unfortunately, just let him go down. Sometimes the macro mistakes do come through, and unfortunately that is just what happened there. That was just unfortunately a macro mistake. But we are going to see Tree rotate to this gen, which was just recently popped. Hopefully we can find a survivor who is stealthing around here. Hopefully we can find Aklis, but no, she is left already, and Nosy will be on this final gen. I do believe that we might have this 99. I think we do. Looks like Neckbeard might be our Adren player, and we might just be waiting for the unhook, actually. As we see, yeah, this gen's just being waited on. That is going to be exactly what happens. We are going to see the Adren into the unhook. So that will be a very nice game from our survivors, able to walk out with the 1 set win. So we will be going into the tiebreaker.
The tiebreaker Dredge, who would have thought this was actually something that we saw just shy of 2 weeks ago. But yeah, both teams kind of like showing up here on the Lich. Just unfortunately, I feel like Sanity got off to a better mid game than CatJam, and it seems like they're gonna try and get as many stages out the door. Neckbeard kind of wants to show himself up, offer himself the 4th stage. So that's probably just gonna allow everyone else to make it out of the trial and again force it into the Dredge set. I feel like Sanity has also managed to recover the nice amount of mental. Look at that beautiful nosy head-on attack. Finally, we get to see one of these, and funnily enough, it's only when the game is over. But yeah, forcing it into Dredge always going to be nice if you're on the side of Sanity. You know, you get that one chance to come back. Well, second chance, I guess, to come back in this series. But yeah, again, it's very neck and neck here, 1-1, and we'll have to see what both teams can do in the Dredge. Because again, I've not seen CatJam play Dredge in, well, actually, I've never seen CatJam play Dredge. So we'll be right back to see the Dredge tiebreaker. 1-1, it's really close. Stay tuned. All right, everyone. Welcome back to our potentially final set for today. Well, it's going to be our final killer for today because it's going to be Dredge. But how many tiebreakers are we going to go to in this series? Because it's 1-1, neck and neck. Both teams have taken their pick respectively, and now we're heading into the most funny killer of them all, the Dredge. So our balancing for the Dredge does have exhaustion, and we have seen couple of like actually no, is it just no, we've only seen 2 other Dredge games this season, and they've all ended up, I think, in 4K territory. So if this is gonna go how it is with the field recorder, we might be seeing some really, really close killer performances coming out. But Fizz is gonna take on the responsibility of Dredge here as they do spawn on this 12 up area, and you kind of want to find the first survivor as quickly as possible. And with that, with the crop though, they do have a little bit of leeway with that. And that's actually going to be Mr. Neckbeard found immediately off this 6 up tile off rip, and he's not running to the God Pallet, Stasi. So this could, oh no, he is running to the God Pallet. Right. I was gonna say it could spell some trouble in 5 down, but oh no, he's dead. He's gone down, and no God value for Fizz, I guess.
Yeah, that's going to be a huge find for Fizz. The fact that Neckbeard was so close to that locker, playing very, very aggressively, does give basically a free down. That's just a 2-tap instantly to start out with. So, great start by Fizz. Interesting that we're deciding to use a Scourge Hook this early. I'm not sure how quickly we would have rotated to gens, but I think it's fine. We will be playing quite aggressively, and being able to get it down in field recorder is always just going to give so much value. This is the exact start that you need as killer, because if you're not getting a hit within the field recorder within those first 40-60 seconds of the game, you're gonna have a rough one. But very well played. Fizz was able to absolutely go crazy there. Now we do see that there are 3 gens that are being worked on in the background, so I don't know. I don't really like the camp here. I think we're playing pretty aggressively for this. I think we can decide to play a little bit more loosely and fight for the fight for higher stages here. Dredge is going to be one of those killers where you can see 4K4s, you can see 4K3s, you can see a lot of throws happen, and honestly, it's definitely something that can occur. But we are going to see Ranger come in for the save here, very, very close to not getting Neckbeard off the hook, but it does happen just in time, and Neckbeard is going to opt to leave straight away.
Yeah, he's got to leave straight away. Of course, he still has all these God Pallets at disposal. Has 5 down, has 11 down as well still to use. And actually, nothing's been dropped, so pretty much everything on the map except that pallet is going to be available. And it seems like Fizz is going to assess the distance and just pick up Ranger for the quick pain res before potentially heading back for the tunnel out. But I've definitely seen in pretty much every single Dredge set that I've watched tunnel out be like immediately locked back on to, well, the Dredge is like locked back onto the survivor, is what I mean to say. But with again the amount of gens that are going on, Fizz can definitely afford to go for the tunnel out, as we do see Neckbeard go for the vault here and potentially make it away. But Fizz just teleported, I think, to a bit of a strange locker here. Didn't really gain that much distance, and Neckbeard is going to be able to make it to this 11 down God Pallet as well. Oh, no, this is 5 down. Okay, my map's a little bit off right now, but at least they do make it upstairs anyway and play out this pretty much max distance chase here. But I feel like, yeah, again, I do have to agree with you, Stasi. Fizz did play the start of the game pretty passively after that hook. I feel like as the Dredge, you could kind of just afford to teleport around lockers and just secure a lot of eruption value coming in. And we do see, like, again, like a gen pop as a result, but inevitably it was going to pop. And Fizz, a bit of a mistake on the Remnant here is going to force a pallet break, so Neckbeard is going to redeem a little bit of his chase time here in the second chase.
Yeah, and that is really unfortunate for Fizz. If we were facing the other way, that would have been a free down. Fortunately, though, Neckbeard is going to get away with it for a little bit longer than we would like, and we're really trying to bait this here. And Fizz, I'm not really liking how we're playing here, but we see the down. I didn't even see a swing there. That was very, very, very interesting. But we do see Fizz does end up getting the down here. So this will be Neckbeard going on to second. So we do have a tunnel out to fight for. Eruption has procced in the background as well. So hopefully we can get this power coming back to us ever so slowly. But Fizz will be rotating around the top side of the map here, seeing if we can find someone a little bit out of position as the time is coming down. So Fizz will be rotating very, very quickly around. We do have access to our power, and we do see Ranger here, who will be taking the next chase. This is one of our hook survivors.
It is one of the hook survivors, and it's kind of like a little bit of a conundrum, because Fizz could go try commit maybe for a tag, or even a full commit onto Ranger and get it down in the second death hook coming in. But then there's also the fact that Neckbeard's sitting on the hook and also going to be only like 20 to 30 seconds away from being sacrificed here, as we do see Ak come in for the rotation for the trade. But yeah, like Fizz is still in a pretty alright position, has the pain resist available if they do want to take it onto Ak. But I feel like it's just going to be the tunnel out coming through. and Neckbeard's going to be committed here as he does lose a potential little bit of distance and actually takes the BT hit through this 11 down God palette. So it's going to be a bit of free distance for him. And Fizz, I think, yeah, after that play, does decide to go for the free painters and maybe just go back to Neckbeard. Guess that is a smart play, but Nosy is here on the flashlight save. I don't even know why. Oh my gosh. Okay, I mean, he was there to get the pickup, and now suddenly it's as if he just got a pickup, and now Neckbeard's gotten away. Fizz, everything's kind of fallen apart. Where is Neckbeard now? This is the entire point of the play, is to get the painters and then try and go back onto a tunnel out, but he's already being reset in the background by Vanga on this toilet tile on, I believe it's 7 down, and Fizz is smelling it out, knows that something is here, knows that someone is here, does check the toilet, so it does find them, but it's going to be a miss, a swing and a miss. So, okay, okay, they did manage to resume the tunnel out, but that's so much time bought for survivors. Nolzy, maybe again you can bump him up in the tier list, but that was a beautiful flashlight save.
I have to disagree, to be completely honest. That was really free. I think Fizz just should have looked the other way. We saw scratch marks before the pickup. We actually saw scratch marks well before the pickup occurred, and we decided to go for it anyway. I think if Fizz was just facing the wall, facing the other way, it would have been absolutely fine. I think if Nolzy missed that, then that would have been a huge problem. That would have been really detrimental. But no, he does get it. He does know the timing, so that's all you can ask for. But Fizz does finally get the down onto Neckbeard here. I don't think Ranga was shadowing close enough to get this save, and we are going to finally see the down. We do have our dredge power available to us as well. Nightfall is still occurring, and we do see all 3 of our survivors have gone into full stealth mode. If we can find Ranga here and get it down, that would be an absolutely huge chase, but we are going to see all 3 of them just starting to really slow it down, just chill out and wait for the power to be gone. That way we can continue into the later part of the game and hopefully play a bit more aggressively around the heals.
Yeah, and that's potentially where the Sloppy Butcher will come into play in this 3v1, because really in the 4v1, like the extra 4 seconds healing time isn't usually that much of a big deal, because usually they're just going to be focused on tunneling out and you can't interrupt resets. But in the 3v1, of course, with the Dredge teleportability, it is completely possible to just force the healing to go all the way back down to 0. And we can see here that our survivors are not even going to take any chances with, you know, Sloppy Butcher, and just get that reset real quick here onto, I believe that was Vang, right? Anyway, whatever, whoever it was, I believe it was Vang anyway, but it's still going to be a pretty rough situation, because death at 2 generators remaining usually is, in previous balancings anyway, without exhaustions, have led me to believe that 4K1 is pretty much, you know, like, impossible to stop for the killer. But maybe Sanity can prove us wrong, because we do find Nolzy here on the chase, and from what I understand, Nolzy is like a bit of a 50 player. But Pig Abuser too, coming in on that bit of God window. But yeah, he's made so much distance off that swing and potentially can play this out. I'm not sure if he makes another pallet though, so it could just be a tag coming in. Yeah, he's forced to play this battle here, so it could just be a fast tag coming in, but this is just enough time for our survivors to go for generator pops in the background. That's one in the distance, so yeah, survivors are picking up the pace here, Stasi, and Fizz needs to watch out, because you could still potentially end up in outs.
Yeah, fighting for a 4K1 is so much easier, especially in a dredge set where you have such high mobility. If we can get the down onto Nolzy soon, then at least we will be able to play around our Scourge Hook here. So we do see the insta come out on the locker here from Fizz. I don't think Nolzy's going to get too much distance. Hopefully we're able to clutch up and get the down. We do see an insta drop coming in from Nolzy and an instant vault. And no, Fizz losing the 50-50. This is starting to become really detrimental, as Fizz is starting to really slow down. All that pressure from the early game is just completely gone, and this is going to be a hit take from Ranga as well. I assume that Atlas is just working the generator in the background.
Yeah, and that's the case, then it's only another like 50 to 60 seconds left until the 10 pops, but no, she's not on the generator. Maybe just taking a little bit of downtime to secure a bit of safety on the lockers with the locks, but okay, I don't know what happened there, but Nightfall's going to be active now, and yeah, this is a very dangerous territory for survivors. Of course, our Dredge moving like, I think, 3 times faster than Nightfall means they can pretty much zoom around the map, and you have absolutely no idea he's coming until it's way too late. We do find the reset here on this up tile. It's going to be a little bit of Philly here for Vang to play, and we'll have to see what he can cook here, because this is not the safest of tiles, but we've definitely seen Dredge in the past muck it up. But no, that's a beautiful timing there for Fizz to take the tag. So, yeah, now is kind of where the game starts. Now you can snowball off this Nightfall and start accumulating sloppy tags as you do catch out Akia. Pretty much no resource left. So it's another sloppy tag on the board. I want to see how survivors. I want to see how our survivors from Sanity deal with this because, they have to play this slowly, and if they don't play this slowly, I feel like you could still just go for the 4K one, which is again more of the standard result, I'd say. But yeah, it's still kind of like close at the moment because Fizz is still committing acts, so it might give enough time for like a gem to pop maybe, or it could also give enough time for a reset.
Yeah, I was about to say, this is really rough by Atlas. Ran into the reset, also ran into the gen. We see a missed swing here as well by Fizz. Ranger coming in for another body block, does end up successfully working, and we see the hit take coming through. We need to get it down here, and we need to get it immediately as Fizz is desperate for a Scourge Hook. Doesn't opt to break the door, which could have been broken earlier in the trial. Instead, we're going to do a rotate and see if we can catch Nolsey out of position. But no, we leave the chase very early again, and Nolsey playing very, very passively. Doesn't actually know what the killer is, but Atlas does receive the down, and we see eruption does occur in the background. Won't see a flashlight save come in this time, and I think we will be hooking Atlas in the courtyard instead, so this will be very central, and that will take us down to one Scourge Hook left, so that will give us a little bit of value here. We are making our way back towards Nightfall as well, as Ranger is injured, so we will be able to play around that. And we just saw Nolsey there. I think that might have only been spectator, though I'm not sure if Fizz would have actually seen that, as they would have just seen the black wind effect. But we do see Fizz does rotate around the top side of the map as Nolsey. He's just going to be stealthing here, but Nightfall coming back very, very quickly, and the survivors have slowed down once again.
Yeah, the game is just pretty much ground to a halt at this point as Nightfall's back, and we have pretty much 2 injuries now on the board. So I'd like to see what Sanity do about this, because are they going to do like the crouching thing and try and deny the kill instinct? They could also go for a basement heal play, but again, that's also very risky because if the killer finds you, that is no bueno for both the survivors in the basement. But seems like we can't find any trace of any of the Sanity survivors. So they're doing a really good job just stealthing out this Nightfall, which is of course going to be detrimental for Fizz here, as they do, again, still try and look for anyone. I was just holding the spots beautifully, and I guess maybe Fizz is going to find someone, but they're still upstairs, so I feel like there's going to be absolutely no shot that someone's going to get found here. So yeah, look at that, both survivors here, and then they'll be upstairs, but the Nightfall's going to be running out, and that's when our survivors probably going to make the move. Fizz unfortunately didn't get anything out of this Nightfall, and kind of does show a little bit of weakness, I'd say, on the side of the Dredge, where you just can't capitalize on that. It's just a big deal, and we do finally find a survivor, but Nightfall is gone, so the fast Dredge teleport is not going to work out to their advantage. They can't capitalize essentially on like cutting off heals and so on. So Axe gonna take the next chase. Maybe she has something here. I think this paddle is broken though, so I don't think she has anything to work with, and we'll just go down. I believe she has been hooked before on a pain res, like just on that mid courtyard, which leads me to also my next point, which pain res on this map, I'm actually really surprised that Fizz has gotten this much value out of pain res. Like, I swear, I've just like seen some Dredge trials where like the killer brings pain res, and then at the end of the game, there's just like 4 pain res still on the board, even though they're like 4 fresh hooks. But yeah, having like a pain res like pretty much like in the pocket like all the time, I feel like Fizz is very fortunate there, Starzy.
Yeah, it's gonna be that's gonna be a huge boon to our arsenal here, but this has been quite a long game, and it is really starting to drag out. We've actually left Atlas on the floor here. I think we could have gotten away with an instant hook here. It would have been absolutely fine. And here we're going to see a Nolsey recharge with the SB here, so we'll be able to use that to get a little bit of distance as we continue the chase around the top side of the map. This is going to be top 5. We continue, and now Atlas is back up, so we pretty much got nothing for that down, unfortunately, as she's going to get away for free, but hopefully we can get a quick hit onto Nolsey here, as he will be rotating around this filly here, which we will definitely be able to play around. And actually, Nolsey almost running into the power, but does dodge here, and it tries to do an any means necessary play. Does not end up working out, though, so we are going to see Fizz rotate away. Ranger and Atlas both injured. I think we might be seeing a reset come through, but we do see the Dredge power is already back, and we do know that there is a survivor hiding somewhere nearby. If we can continue the chase here, we might be able to play aggressively, as both of these survivors have slowed down a lot, but no, we've gone into a locker with the Dredge Power blocker, so this is going to be very, very unfortunate as Atlas continues to run around the bottom side.
Bot side, is she going to die as well, as the nice TP forces it down? And Fizz is kind of like making progress. So the survivors are slowly getting the percentages in the generator. It's just at the end of the day, is it going to be enough? Because like as we saw in that Spirit set, like just like 1 to 2 seconds left on the generator is all it needed to get completed. And I feel like that generator up top here just might suffer the same fate, just like be really, really close. And at the end of the day, we'll have to see who comes out on top there. But Fizz is still trying to look around, trying to accumulate the pressure here, maybe get a sloppy tag on Nosy or a second down, but unfortunately isn't going to be able to capitalize on this last Nightfall. So hopefully we do see a pickup onto Act, because I feel like this pickup is kind of free, and yeah, they are heading back in, but you do see scratch marks. Vanga's here. He didn't get the pickup in time, and that's a huge mistake coming out from Sanity, because now Nosy is the only one left standing. He can't be really working a generator, and I feel like that means that Fizz can go for a pretty free kick and start regressing some of the high progress gens if there are still any. Actually, I think Eruption is just done a good enough job to prevent that from happening, but yeah, still, that's a huge blunder coming out, I think, from Vanga, because now Fizz, yeah, is on the hunt for pretty much an Nosy tag. And Nosy's gonna get away with this though and get the pickup, I think. But it's, oh man, if that pickup happened, there's still definitely a good amount of time. But yeah, okay, Nosy does get the same pickup. Okay, that was a really like important play there. So we're kind of propelled into the previous situation before, but Fizz is again kind of like slowly running out of kicks. Survivors are slowly bleeding out. So I feel like this trial is coming to an end. It's just I'm not sure how it'll end, because 4K1 still possible, out's still definitely possible. It's just, oh man, this is a night if you've never seen it.
Yeah, I mean, I have to admit, I'm starting. It's so frustrating watching Fizz play like this. I wish she'd just start taking hooks, because she's really playing well. She's actually got a lot of merit for how she's playing, but unfortunately, she's just not capitalizing on any of her pressure. She just seems to get the downs and then says, I'll just go do nothing for a while, and unfortunately it just doesn't end up working out. If she was able to find Nosy there, that would have been huge. It would have been fantastic, but unfortunately she just was not able to capitalize on all, and she really needs to start taking hook stages. She needs to force people to play more safe, and we're going to see a full reset, and this is when the survivors, they're going to absolutely start capitalizing, because now we're all healthy. This is the first time that all three survivors have been healthy in a very, very long time, so we'll be able to play aggressive when we see Akla stealthing towards this gen here, and we popped right out and caught her by surprise, but unfortunately we were not close enough.
Yeah, we weren't close enough, but this was a nice funny interaction there from Fizz. I'm not sure if the survivor like can pretty easily see where the Dredge and block are, but anyway, Axe kind of gonna delay a bit of time before this injury, and presumably down as well, but we do have this bad filler to play out for a little bit of time. I feel like our survivors in the background should be doubling. I feel like Axe is gonna make a decision, but oh no, Fizz teleported to the Remnant at the wrong time, and that's just gonna be more time bought again for our survivors. And we can hear Ace Vanga step off this gen with the Eruption. We see the aura running away, and that's actually Nosy too. I think maybe that's Calm Spirit preventing the scream. I mean, it had to be, as Fizz does take the TP. And this gen has to be really close to being done. Of course, Eruption still is on cooldown, so you can't kick the generator yet for Eruption, and it's still aggressing too. But oh man, like this game is just, it's still getting so close. Axe bleeding out, slowly ticking towards the bleed out timer, and Vanga's taking chase here. Does unfortunately lose this. Vaults back in. I feel like that's a really big mistake as well, but a pickup comes through at least, and the survivors should be able to reset off this chase, I think. And we're kind of back to square one in a sense. The gen's just going to be really high progress, and it's going to run out of kicks, so something is going to be decisive here in this trial. Vanga's actually going to get hooked here, so now with this hook next to the high progress, and maybe Fizz goes for a camp, so I'm not entirely sure, Stasi, what I would do here. It's such a weird situation to be in.
Yeah, I'm very happy that Fizz has finally put pressure on the board with this hook stage. we are going to see Ranger finally be on second, and we will be able to play around that quite aggressively. Both these generators are at 0, and the only one that is progressed is the one that we kind of want to be playing around, because Ranger's hook is right here. So I think we're very, very happy to actually play pretty aggressively around this, as we only need about 40 seconds now. And even if we play a little bit more loosely, we can still probably get away with a hit take here, as Nightfall is slowly coming back. It is already 3/4. So we'll just rotate to these survivors and see what they're up to. So we do see Atlas, and I assume Nolzy's probably rotating for the save here. He is. Fizz is nearby, but we do see the rotate away, and Fizz is back towards the hook here, but let's Ranger get unhooked for free, and we are going to see Nolzy is going to have to take a hit here at some point. Ranger is not able to get past Nolzy, and Nolzy is doing a bit of interesting gameplay there. Does the hit take, does finally come through, and we will continue to chase onto Nolzy here. Unfortunately, we don't have too many resources left besides this window.
Yeah, and that's actually really, really bad for Knowles, because he's the last pain res, and if Fizz's pain res have been so successful as previously, then we'll just pretty much see like the gens pretty much like, you know, go back to 0 again, and Fizz going to get the 9th down to Knowlesy. Not really much he could do there, but if this is pain res again, this is huge, and I feel like yeah, maybe taking the hook here before, but no, we're actually going for the corridor slightly outside. So now this 8th hook of the trial comes through. Was it 9th hook of the trial? Oh man, I can't count. No, it has to be 8th, right? It's like it's just slowly coming to an end here for both sides, and Vanga's stealthing too in a pretty, I'd say, unsafe spot. If he does get found, it could just be GG again, but the gens aren't being worked anymore, and they're just gonna be aggressive yet again. Look at that, it's on 5% now. Damn, this just Eruption just getting so much value this game. But of course, it should be getting Eruption because it's a Dredge set, Starzy. I've like never seen a Dredge set without Eruption.
Yeah, I mean, you're just going to get so much value out of it because you're consistently going to be getting these kicks. They're going to be very easy to play around. And we are down to a no pain res game. Nolzy, though, I think we can afford to play pretty aggressively around Nolzy's hook. I think it's fine because he's really close to true generators. We only have to pop in to check the third every now and then. I would really like to see Nolzy go second here. I don't want to see Fizz leave this just yet. We know this generator's on 0. Even if they're doubling it, they're not going to get it done. I'd really like to see Nolzy go to second. Please go back, Fizz.
Yeah, and I think Axe actually just gonna be sitting the generator, so I guess they do get a bit of progress for this second hook here, but again, Axe gonna get forced off this gen. There's not really much you can do here with that split burst, which of course the split burst fires in the hook. So Vanga's also gonna try and apply the split map pressure, but realistically he's gonna get forced away with this teleport, and actually seems like he's heading towards the unhook, and he's kind of pre-left this, so he does get the unhook onto Nolzy, and maybe you can see some nice body block again coming in, but oh man, I'm pretty sure like all our survivors except Ak are like death hooked, and definitely everyone's been hooked once, as Nolzy does pop the spin burst to try and prevent the sloppy attack from coming in. Nolzy though, I don't know, he's in a bad spot here. He's waiting at the BT, he doesn't drop the power in time, he's going down. Vanga's getting chased in the distance for some reason, and that's going to be the second kill of the trial. It's been quite a while since we've seen a kill, but I feel like this one might just it might just end the trial here, because yeah, look at this, the gens still just don't have enough progress. And I cannot talk about ending the trial, but it's still possible to get more stuff done, I would say, on the survivor side, but with this tank coming through, it's going to be tough.
Yeah, now that Atlas has to play much more passively, it's definitely not what you want. Ranger's basically going to have to be back on a gen almost instantly, and if we're found here, we're really going to be in good position. This gen is sitting at about 60 though. However, in a 2v1, it's going to be a difficult fight, especially with Nightfall slowly coming back to us. The question is, this top gen did have a bit of progress before. I'm wondering whether we're going to fight around it. We're actually looking for a very preemptive reset here. We can rotate see what Rang is up to. So it looks like we're actually looking in kind of the right spot. The survivors aren't really doing anything, and Fizz is actually not that far away from where the survivors are resetting. We're resetting lower. We're actually in lower 3, I believe. So, and Fizz going to be in upper 5. So we're not too far away, but this is okay. We can kind of chill here. And we're going to get our Nightfall back as well. So we will have access to our power once again. Probably like the 10th Nightfall for the game or something. This has been going on for a good while, but we are going to see the reset does occur onto Atlas. We are mostly checking the top side, as that's where all the gens are. So I think that's Absolutely fair, as we are going to see the teleport go down towards courtyard, but there's definitely going to be no one out here. If we can get it just one hit in this mode here, we're going to be in a very strong position. But as long as we're able to get these generators to regress, honestly, I think we can play around that just fine. So yeah, I don't think we're going to find these survivors, but still, about a third of our nightfall left. We can still decide to play pretty aggressively, look around the map. Hopefully we can find someone a little bit out of position. Maybe Aquas rotated too early, and that's most likely going to be one of our final kicks, either the second to last probably, as Fizz does take the hit onto the gen that's sitting at 5%.
I mean, yeah, kicking the gen there, I'm a bit concerned for Fizz. Fizz's like attrition plan here because, yeah, I can see the spikes are already pretty much telling them to f off on both the generators. But seriously, it could come down to just like that 8th kick and forcing Fizz to commit, and then a rotation onto gen that can't regress anymore. And yeah, we can see Ranga pretty stealthy here. Getting away from this is just gonna win the battle. Kind of wins the battle. Like every small percentage you can get in the 2v1 is, I'd say, I'll take it with as a W for our survivors. And again, oh my gosh, Rang is hiding on the 3rd floor, the legendary 3rd floor stealth with nothing on it, and Fizz isn't gonna check. So it's gonna be another W for Ranga as Ak is also stealthing. Sanity is slowly calling in for survivors, so definitely a little bit of worry for Fizz if they cannot find a survivor here, which is still the current problem. But you have to find someone here, otherwise like can't really start getting pressure. And Ak's gonna get found on the stairs. Maybe a bit of miscom or like no pre-run there led to the tag coming through, but Fizz is very fortunately going to commit this chase, and we won't have to see a potential like more ping pong going in from the gens, because I think Fizz knows as well that with the gen kicks running out, they can't afford to just be stalling out the game with eruption anymore, because that's just not going to be possible very soon. So Ak's going to get put on the ground and put on the hook, I think, as Ranga probably can't commit to gen. We will have to see a rotation come in and play for pretty much anything left here now. And okay, Ranga actually just wants to take chase, so yeah, 4k1, very drawn out, but still very solid result for our killer, and that's, I guess, how you get it done on Dredge. Very nice tunnel out into a good application of Nightfall, I think.
Yeah, we are going to see Aklas does miss the skill check there. Hoping that Ranga can get the hatch here. A hatch escape would actually be really huge here. Yeah, being able to play around hatch would be absolutely massive, but we're going to be playing around this little pallet here. Unfortunately, does end up giving the hit. If we can get a quick down, we're in a very strong position. I'm sure Fizz is hoping that the hatch spawned behind us somewhere. I don't actually hear it just yet, but it looks like Ranga won't be finding it. We're going to see the down coming through very soon. We've got a pallet to play around here, and if we can keep them in this room, we're going to be in a very strong position, hoping we don't let them go back to courtyard. We're going to be rotating back around to where we were before, and I think we're just going to be seeing a down come through very soon, as Ranga is put into a little bit of an awkward position here. We're kind of screened to the side, got a nice nightfall here, got the Remnant out, and that is going to be the down onto Ranga. So that is going to be a straight 4k1 from Fizz, a very the Sanity team here. And Spunk's always been a really strong competitor, always been a very strong macro killer. Micro, he's actually been pretty well as well. He's just pretty well regarded, to be honest. Spunk has always been very strong. But regardless, we are going to see the survivors load in here, as I do believe we saw someone for just a spec there, as we see we see a couple of survivors here. We find the rotate.
Yeah, and we find a survivor here on the bad pallet, but they get the stun here on the 7-up piano tower. That's actually pretty big, because now they can kind of unzone themselves and make their way towards the bathroom pillar downstairs. And Smoke's actually just gonna leave this again, trying to catch out of rotation. And they do find actually no, it's just the same survivor here on this 7-up, and it's pretty nice pallet to play off, I would say, for survivor. But it's gonna be 50-50s being played, and Smoke's going to lose it. Unfortunately, did not win at the casino gamble, and they just have to continue playing this chase out. But I feel like now with this down coming through, that seemed much faster than our first try. Actually, no, did it? No. It was actually around the same time, because Neckbeard just got 2 tapped, right? So now it's just going to be a potential early pop coming in on the pain res coming in on a generator, and Smunk can work from there. But definitely looking all right for 4K1. Maybe even again 4K2 tier 3 with the state of that first turn coming in. But yeah, Payment's gonna hit the board, and maybe we can see some pressure coming in from Smunk, which we didn't see Fizz do the first trial.
Yeah, unfortunately, we do see a hit coming here onto Stormslight. Gave a little bit of a free tag there. We did slow down for the walk for a little bit, but Smunk will have to play around this window, actually, as we're going to leave. We're going to leave straight away. We're going to go straight back to see if we can get this early tunnel out, and we are going to see Layla here again. Did win a nice couple of 50s back there, but is going to need to go on a bit of a crazy chase here to keep the game alive. We do have access to both of our God Pallets here, and yeah, we're just going to see the insta-drop here, which is exactly what you need. Hopefully, we're able to rotate back around to 5. If we can, that would be absolutely fantastic, but I don't think we're even going to get close here as we just opt to play around this meat filler. And we see the down coming in as Layla straight away as we see the instant TP, actually. And Gaffy will be getting a gen done in the background. That's already been our Scourge Hook that's been popped. And I'm hoping that we spend a little bit longer before we get this next unhook, as we're going to be trying to find Mercy here. Wasn't out of position, almost gave a hit, but was able to get away just in time. And we see Mercy now on the lower side. Gaffy rotating to the top. And hopefully we're able to just spend some time getting some gens done. Maybe leave the hook till the last minute. Hopefully Layla can play around and go a little bit crazy. But Stormslight with some really interesting movement there. Somehow gets away with it.
Yeah, he gets away. They get away with it, and they also nearly made a one target as the unhook does happen in the distance. I would not be surprised if Smug did slug this, but I think they just want to get the quick hook. Look at just the hook location here. So quick little pain res to stop that downstairs. I think 10 gen was it? No, downstairs 5 gen from being progressed, as we did see Stormslight on it getting forced off, and it was around 70%. So yeah, that's going to start regressing pretty nicely, or continue regressing, I guess, since Ruin's still in the trial. Actually, Mercy does take a fairly unfortunate tag here. I feel like they were going in for the save, but the comms were not really that open enough, and they actually forced to play the little bit of house building here. The block, I would say, is now what we're watching at the moment, but I feel like, unfortunately, the block is going to be destroyed as Monk does go for a little bit of the Dredge Remnant mind games, and Mercy, unfortunately, again, couldn't do anything there. Goes down, and now, oh my lord, this is such a weird game coming in. We have a slug on the non-death hook as usual, and Stormslight's going to get found out as well. Not a death hook as well, and Monk's actually going to try the block tech, but it's not going to work. And oh my lord, this trial is actually so messy at the moment, but Monk, I think, is completely happy to take these sloppy butcher tags. We know, Stasi, I think we all know like how important like even like one sloppy tag can be, especially in like a dredge set. You know, like you get one and it just kind of snowballs a lot in terms of, you know, like the pressure you can put on, especially with Ruin as well, forcing the gens back. And we might not see another gen pop for quite a while, even though Stormslight is quite close. That's another pain res coming in, so oh my lord, the gens are getting so hammered here.
Yeah, and I mean, the fact that we've got all these sloppy tags, another thing as well, Nightfall is just recharging so quickly in the background. We can afford to do chases and just have Nightfall absolutely blitzing through the game. But we do see Stormslight almost gets down there, but is able to drag this chase out for a couple more seconds as we do finally see the down. And I do believe this is lower 2. And we will see Stormslight go on to, I believe this is second here. I think we have a bit of a spectator bug. Yeah, we do. We are going to see Stormslight go on to second. And we see the reset coming in through the background as well. That is going to be on to Mercy. And we will see a reset on Gaffy as well. I do believe we're also going to see this second gen proper. No, actually, sorry. We saw the third Scourge hook of the trial just prop just then. Oh, maybe not, actually. Maybe I was misreading. So we see the second gen of the trial does end up rocking in the background, and we were going to see a fake there by Layla, but does end up giving the down, and this is a huge misplay as this is our tunnel out, so this is going to turn the game into a 3v1, and now CatJam are basically fighting for a 4k1 at best, but this is definitely looking like it could be a 4k2. Smunk is playing very, very aggressively, but we do see a full reset in the background.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Good progress for survivors to get that reset done, but I feel like again, there's really not too much safety left on the map. Mercy's giving away. Sorry, is this Mercy? Sorry, this is not Mercy. This is Stormslight giving away another tag, pretty much mitigating the reset coming in. But I mean, they still, again, they can still make something happen. Like Sanity did so good in that the 3v1. Actually, both sides I think really played that 3v1 well. Sanity got an additional gen done. I feel like Stormside, if they do make this filler, which I don't think they do, yeah, they're not gonna make a filler. So that's a really big deal. But if they did, they could kind of like escalate a lot of the pressure on the Survivor side. Maybe get a gen done and really put a bit of the question back to Smunk. Like, okay, what are you gonna do here? What's your plan for stopping us in the 3v1? But just as I say that, actually Stormblight is just gonna just down hook. So it's a 2v1 now, and I feel like Smunk has just managed to clutch this back up for Sanity after a bit of a rough spirit set.
Yeah, even if we see another generator proc, Smonk's still got the lead here, so he's got some error to play around with now that Nightfall is gone here. So Mercy will be taking the next chase of the game if she goes on an absolutely juicer chase. There still is a chance that we could walk out with the win here, but it's going to be very hard to play around the Remnant. She almost is able to get away with it, though unfortunately can't make it back to the pallet in time, and will be taking the chase down towards lower 1 as we will be rotating towards middle now. So we're going to try and play around northern courtyard. But no, we do see the third generator of the trial does end up proccing in the background. Gaffy is wasting no time whatsoever, and Mercy is starting to actually have a very solid chase here, is playing around quite a big filler. And we're going to be forcing the M1 here though, but Mercy will be able to make it around. I think can make it to the window as well, and Gaffy will be pumping this generator in the background. Still going to be a long time until it's done, but still does have some access to play around. And my god, Mercy's just winning every 50 at the moment and is playing excellent. But unfortunately, we do see the down and eruption proc does happen in the background, and now we've seen Gaffy, and that is going to be game over there, because unless we lose Gaffy, this is just going to be cooked.
Yeah, I mean, Gaffy's, I don't think could get out of this. Oh my gosh, he just went back up predicting the vault. But yeah, 4K2 for Smunk, that's a very, very solid result. I think if there was going to be a time for him to to perform on the Dredge, this is a nice little boon for him. You know, get the confidence back up on the Dredge there, make it threatening again. And yeah, Sanity, I'm pretty sure is just going to secure the win here over CatJam and secure that spot in the the quarterfinals pretty much. So yeah, 4K2 Smunk, really, really well played. And I gotta also give it to CatJam putting their best foot forward, coming back from a good little bit of retirement. You know, coming back to season 3, signing up quite late in, and still putting on a good show for us to watch on the Survivor and Killer. So yeah, it's been good games tonight, Stasi, and I think Sanity definitely got a bit more to offer in this quarterfinals.
Exactly right. I do believe we are going to see Sanity, who will be taking the second seat. So that is going to be C2 for Sanity. And they will be going up against what I will assume will be either Zetsubo or Lirinsa Marine. It'll be whoever is able to win out of those two teams. And that'll actually be this week as well. So that will be a very interesting game for Sanity. They'll be at a little bit of a disadvantage, I think, unfortunately, regardless of either of those teams. But regardless, we have seen quite a few upsets this tourney actually, so seeing Sanity upstage one of those teams would be absolutely crazy. But we will be taking you out here. Thank you everybody for popping in. That is going to be the win towards Sanity. CatJam, unfortunately, the tournament does end here, but hopefully they continue to stick around competitive. It was awesome to see you guys again. Actually, it was like a whole different time CatJam was around, so it was very cool to see them back. But if you want to join the Discord and see more of the Oceanic Sacrificial League, make sure to do the ! Discord command in the Twitch chat, and feel free to join that and join Screams 1v1s, looking for team whatever. We are slowly getting towards the end of the season, and at the end there are going to be a lot of people looking for teams, and could be a lot of team creations as well. And I mean, this season we had 20, which was just absolutely crazy. But regardless, thank you everyone for popping in. We'll be back with you tomorrow for 3 series of games, so make sure to stick around then. But we'll be back with you tomorrow